Chosen one, something has been shifting quietly while you were unaware. You thought life had paused, that nothing was changing, but in truth, the world around you was rearranging itself to reveal what's been hidden in plain sight. You've been asleep, not physically, but spiritually. You've been walking through days that felt ordinary while miracles stood inches from your reach, waiting for you to open your eyes. The signs, the whispers, the nudges, they were never absent. You simply couldn't see them because the noise of your worry was louder than the guidance of your spirit. But that's about to change. You are standing at the edge of a revelation. What's been right in front of you will soon demand to be seen. Before we begin, take this moment as sacred. This message found you for a reason. Watch this video until the very end because clarity has a way of arriving when you're most still. And as you listen, take a second to write your warmest wishes and 777 in the comments below. This isn't just a number, it's a frequency. When you do that, you're aligning yourself with the energy of awakening, the flow of divine timing. You're declaring that your wishes are no longer dormant, they are alive, vibrating through the universe, preparing to manifest right before your eyes. Now listen closely. For too long you've looked for answers in the distance. You've prayed for a sign, begged for direction, and searched for meaning in external places, never realizing that the truth has been silently surrounding you the entire time. The people you met, the patterns that repeated, the opportunities that didn't last, all of it carried messages. But your exhaustion blurred your vision. You mistook divine pauses for denial. You called ending punishment when they were actually protection. What you thought was delay was divine preparation. Every confusion, every silence, every reroute, it wasn't the absence of guidance, it was guidance in disguise. There's something powerful about awakening after spiritual sleep. It's not just opening your eyes, it's learning to see again. You begin to notice details you missed before, the way someone's energy shifts when you speak truth, the way certain doors feel heavy while others glow with peace. That's heaven showing you alignment. That's how you'll know where to go next. The confusion you once lived in wasn't because you lacked purpose, it's because you were surrounded by distractions that disguised themselves as comfort. Some of what you held onto wasn't love, it was familiarity. Some of what you called loyalty was actually fear of change. But when you awaken, those illusions fall apart. You'll soon realize that the answers you've been chasing were never hiding. They were simply waiting for your frequency to rise high enough to see them. You had to grow into the level where clarity could find you. The pain taught you perception. The isolation sharpened your instincts. The stillness reconnected you to your intuition. Now, when you hear silence, you won't panic. You'll understand that silence means movement, just not the kind that's visible yet. You've been asking for a sign, but the sign is already around you. It's in the repetition of numbers that appear when you feel doubt. It's in the unexpected encounter that reminds you of something sacred. It's in the way peace lingers when you think of one direction but fades when you think of another. You are being guided not by coincidence but by design. The dreams you've had recently, the vivid ones, the ones that felt more real than life, are not random. They're windows. The universe is pulling you toward recognition, toward awareness of what's right in front of you. It might shock you to realize that the blessing you've been waiting for isn't coming from a stranger. It's already tied to something or someone you've overlooked. It could be the opportunity you dismissed, the place you grew restless in, or the person whose presence you took for granted. When heaven moves, it often uses what's already present. The divine rarely introduces something new, it transforms what's been there all along. That's the mystery of awakening. You don't step into a new world, you finally see the one you've been in. This awakening isn't gentle, it's piercing. It'll make you question your old perceptions, your habits, your comfort zones. You'll look at your life and see truth where illusions used to live. You'll understand why some people faded away and why certain moments broke you. They were all part of the shaking that brought clarity. When you wake up spiritually, you stop blaming the storm and start thanking it because it removed everything that blurred your sight. You'll begin to notice a divine order to things, how conversations lead you to opportunities, how delays protect you from harm, how endings release energy that makes space for new beginnings. This is not coincidence, it's coordination from heaven. What's been right in front of you will soon come into focus, and when it does, you'll wonder how you ever missed it. The truth is, you weren't ready to see it before. Seeing requires maturity, discernment, and peace, and you had to grow into all three. The universe hides things from us until we are spiritually capable of handling them. You weren't late to your destiny, you were being trained to perceive it. You couldn't recognize certain blessings before because your frequency was tuned to survival, not vision. But that's changing now. You've been elevated into awareness. The same world, but different eyes. The same story, but new understanding. The wait is over, not because time changed, but because you did. This is your awakening season. Everything that once confused you will now make sense. Everything that felt like a detour will reveal its purpose. The doors that once closed will either open or prove they were never yours to begin with. And through it all, you'll see that yet the greatest miracle was never external. It was the transformation of your sight. You didn't need new answers, you needed new awareness. Heaven has been whispering to you all along, and now finally you're ready to hear. You've started to feel it, haven't you? That strange pull toward clarity. It's not chaos, it's awakening. For so long you've been walking through fog, believing confusion was your reality, when it was really the aftermath of distraction. The truth was never far. It was simply waiting for you to be still enough to notice. And now that your awareness is sharpening, you'll begin to realize just how much of your life was lived on autopilot. The universe has been sending you signals over and over again, synchronicities, sudden memories, unexplained emotions. But when you're asleep to your own spirit, you call them coincidences. You scroll past messages that were meant to reach you. You dismiss people sent to guide you. You resist endings that were written to free you. But here's the divine secret. Heaven never stops speaking. You just stopped listening. Now, something within you is stirring, shaking, pushing you to wake up from the trance of repetition. This moment in your life is sacred. You are between the version of you that survived and the one that's about to see. You've been asking for signs, and they're about to come in clusters, numbers, dreams, songs, even sudden silence. All of them whisper the same truth. What you seek has been beside you the entire time. Every delay, every loss, every sudden shift, none of it was punishment. It was preparation. You were being protected from people and paths that could not go where you're meant to rise. You're learning that divine revelation doesn't shout. It whispers through patterns, through repetition, through intuition. The feeling you keep ignoring, that quiet knowing deep in your stomach. It's heaven's alarm clock ringing, reminding you it's time to open your eyes, because what's next for you doesn't require searching, it requires seeing. The miracle won't come from somewhere new. It'll rise from something you already know, something you once overlooked. The wait is ending. The unveiling has begun. Good, sir. That means you're ready for the deeper layer. You see, awakening doesn't always come like lightning. Sometimes it arrives like a slow sunrise. The light touches one corner of your mind, then another, until you suddenly realize you're standing in full illumination. You've begun to recognize patterns in your life that repeat not because you're cursed, but because the lesson wasn't complete. You've begun to notice faces that come and go at the exact right moment, almost as if heaven schedules your encounters. You're realizing now nothing has been random. Everything you've touched, lost, felt, or feared has been part of your refinement. You used to think your stillness meant stagnation. You used to equate silence with emptiness. But now you see how quiet was the classroom, and you were the student being prepared for a revelation greater than explanation. The loneliness you felt wasn't punishment, it was sacred separation. The delays weren't rejection, they were realignment. Heaven didn't hide your blessings from you, it hid them for you until you were ready to recognize them for what they truly are. There were signs you missed, moments when divine guidance brushed past your shoulder and you called it coincidence. You weren't blind, you were just focused on surviving, not seeing. But now you feel that subtle shift in energy, the pull to pay attention, to pause before reacting, to listen before speaking. That's awareness forming inside you. That's the divine sharpening your perception. Because what's coming next will require vision, not validation. You won't need approval from anyone, you'll simply know. In the coming days, expect strange clarity. Something you once viewed as loss will begin to glow with meaning. You'll see how a rejection protected your destiny. You'll see how the road that seemed closed was actually rerouting you toward peace. And as that clarity unfolds, the fog in your heart will lift. You'll stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Thank you." The awakening always feels like disorientation at first. But soon you'll understand that everything around you is being rearranged to match the truth of who you're becoming. The people who no longer resonate will drift away, not out of cruelty, but because your vibration no longer fits their comfort zone. The opportunities that vanish are clearing space for the ones that align. The relationships that fade are teaching you discernment, and that's something no mentor can give. It's only learned through experience. So if you feel yourself shifting, don't resist it. That uneasy stirring inside you is the soul adjusting to its next dimension. You've been asleep, yes, but not forgotten. Heaven's been moving while you rested, and now that you're awake, you'll start to see that everything right in front of you has been waiting patiently, faithfully, for your awareness to rise high enough to claim it. You're walking through a season where silence feels heavier than words. It's not because nothing is happening, it's because everything is. The shift you've been sensing isn't chaos, it's construction. Heaven is rearranging what surrounds you, quietly moving the pieces into place. You may not see it yet, but something about your path is being rewritten beneath the surface. The delays that once made you anxious are now working in your favor. The people who left suddenly were not random losses. They were exits, scripted by design. The universe has a strange way of protecting those who are awakening. It doesn't announce change, it disguises it in discomfort. You've been feeling that push, that tug in your spirit that tells you you've outgrown your surroundings. It's not pride, it's awareness. The conversations that used to feed you now drain you. The rooms that once felt like home now feel smaller. That's how you know your soul is evolving. You were never meant to stay in the spaces that require you to shrink. And as your perception grows sharper, you'll start to recognize the pattern. The moments that feel like collapse are actually expansion. You're being stretched, refined, and elevated, not because you've done something wrong, but because your purpose no longer fits the container it's in. Heaven is not punishing you, it's promoting you. Every closed door is a coded message that says, there's more. You've probably noticed how everything feels quieter now. That's because the noise was never real power, it was distraction. The silence you're sitting in is not empty, it's full of unseen activity. Behind that stillness, alignments are forming. Conversations are being guided, decisions are being made in your favor. You're not waiting for movement, you are the movement. Your stillness is working louder than your struggle ever did. There's a reason you've been separated lately. You were surrounded by too many voices, too many opinions, too many projections of what you should be. Heaven had to pull you back so you could finally hear yourself, the real you, the chosen you, the one hidden beneath obligation and fear. You were never meant to move according to the noise around you. Your rhythm was always divine. So if it feels like you're being stripped down to the core, don't fight it. That's not loss, that's alignment. Everything unnecessary is being peeled away so your essence can breathe again. You're not falling apart, you're being reassembled with precision. Soon, what once confused you will make sense, not because life simplified, but because you did. And when your vision clears, you'll see it. What you thought was falling apart was actually falling into place. You've reached the point where everything feels still, almost weightless. And yet beneath that stillness, 1,000 invisible movements are aligning on your behalf. You may not see it, but heaven is busy. You're standing in a sacred pause, the space between what was and what's about to be, and every fragment of your past is being rearranged into a masterpiece. What once felt like unanswered prayers was simply being translated into perfect timing. The waiting you resented was never denial. It was divine order learning how to deliver what matches your growth, not your comfort. There's a strange beauty in this silence you're in. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of transformation. While the world may seem quiet, the heavens are loud with movement. Every moment you felt unseen, every time you thought your progress was frozen, something was being built behind the veil. Connections, opportunities, awakenings, all timed to emerge exactly when your energy aligns with them. This is why the things had to slow down before they could accelerate. You had to be stripped of virgins to understand that destiny is not rushed, it's revealed. Look closer. The lessons are all around you now. The people who fell away didn't reject you, they released you so that peace could enter. The doors that closed weren't mistakes, they were protection in disguise. The jobs, friendships, or relationships that expired were not endings, they were transitions. They left because their chapter in your growth was complete. You can stop wondering what went wrong, and nothing did. It all went right. The removal was not the rejection, it was the redirection. Every time you cried asking for a sign, the sign was already waiting. You just weren't still enough to see it. Now your spirit is clear, your awareness sharper. You can sense shifts before they happen. You can feel energy before words are spoken. That's not anxiety, that's discernment. You've been given a gift of perception that few have the maturity to carry. You see through masks now, through false promises, through distractions disguised as blessings. That's what awakening truly is, the ability to recognize light even when surrounded by shadow. And though this awareness can be lonely, it's holy. The chosen are often isolated before they're elevated. You weren't abandoned, to say you were being hidden for refinement. Heaven doesn't announce miracles while they're still forming. It conceals them in obscurity until they're ready to be revealed. That's why the world can't see your breakthrough yet. It's still germinating underground. You're in the root stage, not the fruit stage, but what's growing will be unstoppable. Your story isn't delayed, it's maturing. Every detour is recalculating you toward destiny. Every pause is preserving you from premature exposure. There's a reason things didn't unfold when you expected. You would have accepted less. You would have settled for what was familiar instead of what was meant for you. Heaven delayed what was good so it could deliver what was divine. That's why everything seems slower yet somehow more certain. The energy around you has shifted from confusion to clarity, from searching to seeing. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg, you align. This part of your journey is quiet but powerful. It's not about movement in the outer world. It's about anchoring peace in the inner one. The world will soon notice what's changed in you, so it goes to choices, not because you'll announce it, but because Your presence will carry the calm of someone who finally understands divine timing. You'll speak slower, move wiser, and choose with spiritual precision. And as you do, everything meant for you will begin to recognize you. You've awakened, chosen one. The fog has lifted. And what's coming next won't surprise you. It'll confirm you. The answers, the signs, the alignment, they were never far. They were always waiting for this version of you. The one who finally sees, finally trusts, finally knows. Heaven isn't coming. Heaven has already moved. It's all unfolding now, right before your eyes. There's a moment right before everything shifts when time feels strange, slower, heavier, like the air itself is holding its breath. You've entered that moment now. You can feel it in your bones, that faint hum of energy that tells you something unseen is working in your favor. The quiet around you isn't emptiness. It's activity behind divine curtains. The universe has gone silent because it's recalibrating your entire reality. You're standing in the final stretch before revelation. You may feel tired right now, not just physically, but spiritually. The weight of constant transformation has left you stretched thin, but that's how light gets in. You've been stripped of illusions, broken out of cycles, and separated from noise. You've learned that peace is not a reward, but a weapon, a silent rebellion against chaos. You've learned that patience is not weakness, but wisdom, disguised as waiting. And most of all, you've learned that faith is not about what you see, but what you sense. Every delay had a rhythm. Every loss had purpose. Every silence had meaning. What you thought was stillness was strategy. Heaven has been moving with surgical precision, shifting energies, closing counterfeit doors, and rerouting what's truly yours back to your hands. That's why lately you've been feeling the echo of what's coming, as almost like remembering something that hasn't happened yet. It's because your spirit already knows what your mind is about to catch up to. It's here. You were never waiting for the world to move. The world was waiting for you to align. You've become the frequency that your prayers needed. You've become the vessel capable of holding what you once begged for. You've healed just enough to no longer sabotage what's meant for you. You've surrendered just enough to stop forcing what isn't. And in that surrender, something powerful has begun, a divine reversal. The same places that once drained you will soon release you. The same people who ignored you will witness you. The same pain that silenced you will become the reason others listen. That's what happens when heaven moves. It rewrites the meaning of your past. The rejection becomes direction. The isolation becomes revelation. The silence becomes strategy. You'll soon see how every broken piece of your journey fits into a single divine pattern. What looked like ruin was actually rearrangement. Look at your life now, and it's quieter, yes, but it's also lighter. There's a strange peace sitting on your chest where anxiety used to live. There's a calm in your mind where noise used to scream. You no longer rush to respond, no longer chase closure, no longer demand validation. That's not fatigue, that's mastery. You've evolved beyond reaction. You've entered the dimension of awareness where nothing external has the power to disturb your internal harmony. This is what heaven has been preparing you for, not just blessing, but capacity. You've been stretched so your spirit can carry what's next without breaking. You've been humbled so you won't mistake the gift for the source. You've been tested so your faith would no longer depend on proof. You've been trained to recognize divine movement even in the absence of noise. Because when heaven starts moving publicly, you'll need that calm awareness to hold steady amid the acceleration. And it will accelerate. Soon, what took years to understand will unfold in days. People you thought were gone will resurface for closure. Projects that once stalled will suddenly find momentum. Doors that refuse to open will unlock effortlessly. But the real miracle won't be the blessings themselves. It will be how naturally they arrive. Because now you no longer chase, you attract. You no longer grasp, you allow. You no longer pray from desperation, you speak from alignment. Heaven has not forgotten your name, it's been building a stage around it. Every unseen victory, every quiet act of faith, every tear you hid in private, they've been adding weight to your spirit, preparing it for visibility. The time for invisibility is closing. You're about to walk into rooms that match your frequency. The people connected to your destiny are already sensing your arrival. Your energy precedes your introduction. This is not coincidence. This is convergence. Every timeline that once fractured is merging into divine order. The spiritual and physical are syncing. The unseen has been working overtime to deliver what's already yours. And now the bridge between your faith and your future is complete. You'll feel it soon. The shift, the ease, the soft but undeniable click of things falling into place. The storm is over and you've become the calm. The waiting is ending and you've become the answer. The battle has quieted and now every step you take will echo with authority. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you got stronger. The version of you that was asleep is gone, the one who doubted, the one who feared, the one who begged for signs. They've dissolved into wisdom. What remains now is clarity, peace, and unstoppable movement. You've reached the edge of revelation and part 7 will bring it into full view. The unveiling is near, the transition already in motion. Heaven is not preparing to move. Heaven is moving right now around you and through you. Everything is aligning, chosen one. Everything is awakening. It's happening now, even as you read this. The air around you has shifted to softer, lighter, alive with motion. You may not hear the sound, but heaven is working in frequencies beyond language. What was once distant has drawn near. What was once uncertain is solidifying. You've crossed the invisible threshold between waiting and walking, between faith and fulfillment. This is the part of your story where everything that once resisted you begins to align for you. You've entered the movement. All that time you thought you were still, you were actually being carried. Every moment you whispered, "Nothing's happening," the unseen was mapping your path. The redirection, the delay, the confusion. It wasn't chaos, it was choreography. Heaven was never slow, it was strategic. It was preparing people, places and timing so that when your door opened, everything inside would already be ready. You've cried through nights wondering if you were forgotten, but here's the truth. You were being fine-tuned for something too precise to rush. Now look around you, the subtle signs are there. Opportunities that match your peace, people whose energy feels familiar. Even if you've just met, sudden inspiration that feels divinely placed. These are not coincidences. These are coordinates. Heaven is mapping your next steps through alignment, not effort. What once took force will now flow. The resistance that held you back has dissolved because you no longer fight against what's meant for you. You've learnt the art of surrender, and surrender has opened the gate. And when it does, remember this truth: what's unfolding is not just for you, it's through you. You were chosen not only to receive light, but to reflect it. Every battle that tested you became proof that you could carry divine power without breaking. So breathe, chosen one, the wait is truly over. Heaven has not just moved, it has settled within you. The opportunities you once chased are now circling back because you've become a match for them. What's ahead won't require striving, it will respond to your stillness. Every step you take from here will feel guided, not guessed. Every door that opens will feel right, not rushed. You are in sync with divine timing now. Perfectly, fully, irrevocably. This is your confirmation, your sign, your release. You've awakened from the sleep of doubt into the awareness of destiny. It's waiting for you to claim it. Heaven has moved, the season has turned, and this, right here, right now, is the moment everything changes. Welcome to alignment, welcome to fulfillment, welcome home.